Right, I'm going to do a couple videos today. So you already had my first one this morning on e-signing the IBS and the buyer rep. So we're going to go right into zip forms. There's a number of ways to get there. I like to go to texasrealestate.com. After you log in, your name will be here. Click on the zip forms tab. No matter how you get into zip forms, the next screen is what everybody will get, and it'll turn blue. And when it turns blue, you hit one tab and one tab only. And that's going to be the new tab. And when you hit the new tab, we're going to go over a contract real quick. So you are going to hit purchase, which is a synonym to a buyer. I'm going to just name this test. And I'm going to always select the dot next to residential. And then I'm going to pick the template that's appropriate. And then I'm going to hit save. And the next screen will be looking at a white summary square. Go 2 tabs over to documents. And we're going to open up this contract, and I'm going to hit a few paragraphs real quick. When you do open up anything, go ahead and go with classic. It's much easier, and easy peasy is always going to be the best. So hit classic, and the contract opens up. So I'm going to hit about 13 paragraphs real quick. Paragraph 1, it's easy. It's the seller and the buyer. Paragraph 2 is the legal description. Lot and block is most common. Blank addition is the same thing as subdivision. City of, county of, and then you put in the address here in the zip code. Paragraph 2D delta is if there's going to be any exclusions where the seller wants to retain some fixtures. That's going to most likely be on the MLS printout down by the remarks section where there's a paragraph about the description of the property, and it'll say exclusions. If it says that, then just copy and paste that right here, okay? Paragraph 3A plus 3B equals 3C. Third party's already marked, so that's what most people use is they get financing. If there is no financing, it's cash. You uncheck mark that, and you'll put 3A and 3C will be identical. There'll be no loan because it's cash. Most loans or most transactions have financing, and so you'll have 3A. That's the down payment. 3B is the loan amount, and when you tab, it'll equal 3C. 3A and 3B always have to add up to equal 3C. I'm going to go down to paragraph 5. That's where the title company goes, right there. This is where the address of the title company goes. This $ here that's blank is the earnest money. Usually 1 to 3%. It's all negotiable. If there's a blank, everything is negotiable. I've already put $100 here to buy 10 days, and that's so that everybody knows where that goes. So really there's only one blank with a $. Earnest money goes there. Ignore paragraph 5A1. Don't put anything in this paragraph. All you'll fill out is the title company, their address. The earnest money goes in the blank $. Already have $100 in the option for 10 days. You can change that accordingly. You go down to paragraph 6. It's already pre-filled that the seller pays the title. That's usually about 1% or so of the sales price. So just realize that. You can always get the exact amount from Roxanne or Navette or Krista at Truly Title. But a good rule of thumb is that it's about 1% of the sales price. The way this is filled in, the seller pays it. Down here, you'll see this marked under 6A8 II. Just leave that alone. That is survey coverage for the survey, and it's not that expensive, $80 to $120. The title company name here will be the same that was up here in paragraph 5. So paragraph 5 and 6 have the same title company name. Paragraph 6C at the top here of page 3 is the survey. The way this paragraph is pre-filled, if the seller cannot find their survey, the seller will buy a new one. If it's agreed upon, the way it's been filled in here, don't touch anything. If the seller agrees to this paragraph and they cannot find the survey, the seller buys a new one. It's only if the seller finds it and it's no longer deemed acceptable that either the buyer or the seller, whoever's marked here, pays for it. This residential uses or residential pool and residential uses, leave that alone. Most homes have an HOA, so you won't have to worry about 6E2. It says already there's an HOA. You're going to go to paragraph 7. Most of the time you'll have the seller's disclosure. It's already marked. If you don't, you mark the second box and put 3 days. If you don't need one, then mark the third box. And having not to need one is really not up to you. There's 11 exceptions. And, you'll probably get that information from the listing agent and you can run it by me. But most homes have a seller's disclosure. You either have it or you don't. It's already marked that you have it. If you don't, you mark the second box and put 3 days. Leave paragraph 7D alone. You go to 7H, leave that alone. I already have $700 in there. That's for a home warranty. If you have a relationship to a child, parent, spouse, you put it in paragraph 8. If you are the buyer or the seller also, or have a 10% share in an entity buying. Paragraph 9, it's real easy. You click on it and it pulls up a calendar. You pick a closing date. Make sure the lender can work with it, the seller and the buyer. So it's going to be a communication between all the parties. Most of the time, the seller will move in, move out on closing, and the buyer moves in. That's the way it's pre-filled. If the seller's going to stay in it, then you mark the second box. Paragraph 11, don't even type anything in there. No reason to. Paragraph 12 is called seller concessions, or it's where you ask the seller to pay closing costs for the buyer. It's called seller concessions. Seller concessions, paragraph 12, seller concessions. That's where you ask the seller to pay some of your buyer's closing costs. You get that from the lender. You get that from the mortgage company for the buyer. You get that from the lender's mortgage company, the buyer's lender. So lender and mortgage company are synonyms. You will get the answer to that blank from the lender or the mortgage company that the buyer's using. And if they say $5,000 is what you're asking the seller to pay, you put $5,000 right there. You go all the way down to paragraph 21. You need to put your email and the buyer's email here. These are addendums that you will pick if they are required for the transaction. And then the last page, the left side will be pre-filled, and you'll fill the right side out with the listing agent's information. So that's the way it should look. The left side will be pre-filled, and now you go filling out the right side. Ebby Holiday, the license number, the agent's name, the agent's license number, the agent's email, the agent's phone number, the license supervisor for Ebby, their license number, the Ebby Holiday office address, their phone number, city, state, and zip. The left side will be equal and linked to the right side. Once it's done, you'll hit save. And then you'll want to send it to me to review. To do that, you hit the send button. You hit email. 2 boxes come up. You'll red X out of the first box, and the box left over, you type in my email. Douglas at DHS Realty, DFW.com. In the subject line, review. You'll hit send. It'll ask you what you're going to send it through. You can hit zip forms or Gmail. And then it'll say it's been sent. Then text me that you've sent it, and I'll look for it to review. Y'all be safe.